The Follow Me Homes. Dad, can I have a pet? Asked Liam. No, said Dad matter-of-factly. How come? Liam was thorough in his interrogation. You're not old enough to take care of a pet, Dad quipped, without so much as a tip of the newspaper so that he could look his son in the eye. Well, what if it's a dog? Can I have a dog? Liam pressed on. Maybe next year, William. Dad always called Liam William, but Mom always used the affectionate Liam. What if a stray dog followed me home tomorrow? Continued Liam. Then we'd have to look for the dog's owner so we could return it. Dad was very matter of fact. What if we couldn't find the owner of the dog that followed me home? In that case, we'd have to see. One thing about Dad, he could be reasonable. Okay, said Liam, satisfied with the exchange. He walked to the double doors that separated Dad's study from the hallway, then turned back. The corner of Dad's newspaper flickered a bit, but Dad didn't look to see if his son was still there. Liam went upstairs to get ready for bed. The next day, as dusk approached, Liam found himself walking next to the Sunny Acres Memorial Garden on his way home from soccer practice. He didn't mind walking past the cemetery. It was peaceful, and the sturdy metal that bordered the grounds were covered in ivy. Over his head, a large moth fluttered its wings. But it wasn't a moth. It was a big black bat. It flittered and fluttered and circled around Liam's head. Liam tried to dive under a hedge to hide, but the big black bat followed. Flip, flap, flip, flap, flip, flap. It got closer to Liam's tousled brown hair, then somersaulted away into the darkening sky. Liam ran all the way home and flip, flap, 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 flip, flap, 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 flap. The big black bat raced after him. Slam! Liam's chest heaved as he leaned against the kitchen door and panted from all that running. There was no way the big black bat could get through the door. Whoosh! It sure was easy for that devilish dive bomber to get into the house from the open window over the sink. The big black bat showed off by making 3 loops around Liam's head, then fluttered right to his shoulder and landed, nuzzling Liam's cheek with its nose. That tickled. Liam figured there was no way of getting rid of the big black bat, so he started to tiptoe toward the stairs that led to his room. The large double doors of Dad's study were wide open, but Liam figured Dad wouldn't notice him, as usual. Still, he stepped very carefully, quietly, and quickly past the entrance to Dad's study. Whenever Dad cleared his throat, it meant something important. Liam stepped a little more quietly and a little more quickly past the doorway. William, uttered Dad. Yes, Dad? Liam closed his eyes, hoping that would help. You have a large flying rodent on your shoulder. Before his brain could command him to keep quiet, Liam blurted out, It's not a rodent, it's a bat. He opened one eye and spoke very fast. He followed me home. He's really nice. Can I keep him? Dad put down his newspaper. We talked about this. No pets until you are older. Now get rid of that bat before it scares your mother. But, Dad, he followed me home. Take that flying rodent back to where you found it. Now. Liam looked at the bat on his shoulder. Bats aren't rodents, Liam said in a very hushed voice. The bat just smiled and licked Liam's ear. Liam sulked, turned around, and walked out the front door toward the cemetery. At the gate of the cemetery, Liam picked up the bat and looked into its eyes. I don't think Mom would be scared of you, he said, but Dad says I can't keep you. He held it at arm's length and looked to the side as the bat flip, flap, fluttered away, disappearing into the inky night. The next afternoon, Liam walked through the field next to the O'Connell place on his way home from school. It was warm and sunny, and he swung his backpack around and around like it was a hammer. As he trundled along, the grass of the field next to him parted this way and that. Liam looked at the grass being pushed and knelt down to investigate. Slender stripes of red and white and black split the green of the field as a king snake wended its way toward Liam. Liam knew the difference between king snakes and venomous coral snakes. King snakes were good snakes. They didn't bite, and they ate rattlers. Liam looked at the large snake for a while, said hello, then goodbye, and then went on his way back home. Behind him, the grass continued to part this way and that. At home, Liam pushed open the kitchen door triumphantly. I'm home, he shouted, but there was no answer. He was just about to slam the door shut when he turned around and looked at the large, slender, striped body edging up the steps of the back porch. Liam politely held the door open as the king snake slithered into the linoleum of the kitchen floor. Wow, he thought. If we had a king snake, we'd never have to worry about rattlers biting us in our sleep. He thought of the old upturned milk crate in the garage that he could turn into a house for Ray. He'd already decided to call the king snake Ray. Liam held out his arm, and Ray coiled himself around it, allowing the boy to pick him up. Liam carried Ray into the garage. After dinner, Mom announced that she had a special dessert waiting in the freezer outside. That could only mean one thing: ice cream cake! Liam licked his lips and rubbed his palms together. While Dad looked at Liam's plate, there was one more Brussels sprout on it. Just one more. With a face, Liam speared the offending vegetable with the long tines of his fork and forced himself to eat it. He was just about to swallow the large sprout when the scream came from outside. Mom screamed, and then she screamed again. Dad bucked out of his chair and ran toward the garage. Liam raced after him, the Brussels sprout still in his mouth. Mom was standing on a chair, screaming. Her eyes were really wide, and her face was red like the beets they'd had last night for dinner. Dad looked at the milk crate under the workbench at which Mom was pointing at hysterically. Dad nearly fell back onto his rump when he saw Ray flicking his forked tongue at him. He was trying to smell Dad to see what kind of guy he was. A snake in the garage who followed me home, Liam tried to say, the tasting ball of bad breath roaming around his mouth and slurring his speech. What? Asked Dad. Liam had a feeling that Dad already knew what Liam had said, but he swallowed the sprout anyway and repeated, He followed me home. You brought a poisonous snake into this house? Dad's voice got louder, and the little veins on his neck popped out a bit. He's not poisonous. He's a king snake. His name is Ray. Mom nearly fainted, and she lost her footing on the chair. Dad caught her so she wouldn't fall. Liam was kind of glad that Dad had his hands full at the moment. Take the snake back to wherever you found it, William. I said no pets. But he's not a pet. He'll protect us from rattlesnakes and. Now, commanded Dad. Don't make me tell you a second time. Liam picked Ray out of the box and walked slowly out of the garage toward the field near the O'Connell place. Ray coiled around Liam's arm lovingly and licked the Brussels sprouts residue from his fingertips. Liam didn't get to eat dessert for a week. Dad ate most of the ice cream cake, and he seemed to enjoy it a lot. After being thoroughly punished, Liam was allowed a sleepover at his best friend Jake's house. Jake lived in a really big old house with both an attic and a basement, and Liam loved going on mysterious adventures there. Together, Liam and Jake fought off pirates and sometimes were pirates themselves, and they went down into the caverns that were deep beneath the moon's surface, and sometimes they even went back in time. There was one place in Jake's big old house where they never went, through the deep, dark closet in Grandpa's old room. When Grandpa was alive, he had told Jake that there was a large, scary ogre who lived there, and that he was never, ever, ever to go into the closet. Jake knew he was real because one time he'd opened the closet door and the ogre's cold, smelly breath blew out at him immediately. Jake had shut the door with a loud thud and ran out of the room. Liam wasn't sure there was an ogre in the closet of Grandpa's room, but he did want to see for himself. That night, after Jake's arm fell limply from the top bunk, indicating that he was fast asleep, Liam snuck out of Jake's room and made his way to Grandpa's old room. The door creaked when he entered the room, but not too loudly. The room was gray and dark, and it was hard for Liam to make his way around the large furniture to the closet door. The, the knob to the closet in Grandpa's old room was large, larger than one of Liam's hands. So, with both hands, he twisted it to the right and pulled the door open. Jake was right. The cold, smelly breath of the ogre hit him in the face. Liam shuddered with excitement and blinked until his eyes could see better in the darkness. No ogre, just some old fur coats and large trunks with stickers all over them. He wanted to go into the closet and explore more, but heard someone in Jake's family walking down the hall to the bathroom. Liam waited to hear the water faucet running, then closed the door quietly as he could and tiptoed back to Jake's room. The next morning, Liam skipped back on his way to his house. He didn't tell Jake anything about the closet in Grandpa's old room and how he had found no ogre living there. On the way home, Liam got the weird feeling that he was being followed. He turned his head to look behind him, and no one was there. As he passed the large oleander bushes that grew alongside the wall next to the school, he ducked underneath the branches. Footsteps crept behind him, then past him, then stopped, then crept back again. Someone was looking for him. Liam stuck his head out of the oleander bush to see feet. Large, bare feet they were, with 3 toes each. Liam looked up to see the big, broad, bug eyed face smiling down at him. Liam had never actually seen one before, but he knew right away that he was face to face with the ogre from Grandpa's old room. The ogre grunted a hello and bounced up and down on its haunches. It didn't look like it wanted to eat Liam, but acted more like it wanted to be his friend and play. Liam guessed that the ogre had been trapped in Grandpa's old closet for a long time and was thankful to be released at last. Liam shrugged. What could he do? The ogre was too big to shoo away, so Liam continued his walk back home, the ogre lumbering behind, sometimes hopping, sometimes skipping, and just plain happy to be free. When they got home, Liam thought about the other strays that had followed him home. Dad was not going to like this one at all, and Mom, well, if a snake scared her. The ogre seemed to know what Liam was thinking and came up with its own solution. He picked Liam up with his big, big hands and put Liam on his shoulders. Liam held on to the ogre's matted hair as it climbed the side of Liam's house up to the window that led to his bedroom. Liam whispered to the ogre that it could live in the closet if it wanted to, and that Liam would let it come out to play every day, well, whenever it wanted. Once the ogre was secured in the bedroom, Liam ran downstairs for lunch. That walk home had made him very hungry. He hugged Mom, who was very surprised to see him. I didn't see you come in, Liam. I dropped my stuff off at the garage first, he said, hoping that would suffice as an explanation. Liam started to make his lunch. He'd been making his own lunch on the weekends for over a year now. Today, he acted as if he were particularly hungry and made 5 peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Mom looked at him with eyes almost as big as the ogre's upstairs. Mom, can I have lunch in my room? He asked politely. I don't know. Mom was obviously not too sure about what was going on. I just want to get a head start on cleaning my room, he explained confidently. Well, in that case, of course. How easy it was to make Mom proud. Liam ran upstairs with the sandwiches and a thermos of milk. He hoped the ogre liked the sandwiches. And like them, he did. The ogre gobbled 3.5 peanut butter and banana sandwiches before Liam finished his first one. Just as Liam picked up the second sandwich, the ogre looked at it. Knowing that ogres have very big bellies, Liam broke the sandwich in half and looked and shared it with him. They rubbed their tummies afterwards, quite satisfied. Liam took the ogre. Liam told the ogre that he had to clean his room, but the ogre had other ideas. He once again picked Liam up and put him on his back, then bounced around the room like a horsey. Boom, 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 boom. Liam laughed and hurt because his belly was so full. A loud knocking at Liam's door made them both freeze. Liam, are you cleaning your room? Mom called in suspiciously. Liam flew to his closet door and pushed the ogre inside just as Mom opened the bedroom door. I'm right in the middle of it. Mom looked around the room. It was worse than it was before Liam got home. The homework desk was toppled over, and Liam's bedclothes were scattered all over the floor and hanging from the overhead light. This is what you call cleaning your room? Mom suddenly had her mad face on. Charles! Mom called downstairs. Dad's footsteps were heavy, even on the carpet of the stairs. He poked his stern face into Liam's room. What is going on here? He asked, as if he didn't know that Mom was mad and that Liam was the one causing it. Look at what he's done to his room. Do something about your son, Mom said, and turned to go downstairs. The door to Liam's closet swung open. The ogre had been too big to be stuffed into the small closet for too long. It fell onto the messy floor of Liam's room with a loud thump. His big eyes bugged out at Liam's parents, and he smiled sheepishly at them. His cold, smelly breath hit them both in the face. Mom didn't scream when the monster fell at her feet. She didn't jump on a chair. She went white, then collapsed right next to the huge creature's body. This time, Dad didn't yell either. He just went white and fell right down next to Mom. Liam knew what he had to do. He explained his plan to the ogre very carefully. Of all the strays that had followed him home, he liked the ogre the best because he liked to jump and bounce and play. Before Mom and Dad woke up, Liam took the ogre by the hand and led him back to Jake's house. He introduced Jake to the ogre and told him that his closet back home was too small for the ogre to live. Jake was kind of scared at first, but quickly got over it the first time the ogre gave him a horsey back ride. Jake promised to let the ogre out of Grandpa's old closet every day and play with him. Liam didn't get punished like he thought he was going to. When he got home from Jake's house, Mom and Dad acted like it was the first time that day that he'd come home. Mom didn't seem to remember all the peanut butter and banana sandwiches Liam had made, and Dad didn't say anything about waking up on the floor of Liam's messy bedroom. Dinner was very quiet that night, and afterwards, Mom and Dad went to bed early. Liam spent a good part of the evening cleaning his bedroom. The next morning, Liam awoke to a soft knocking at his bedroom door. As he rubbed the sleepy sand out of his eyes, the door curved open slowly. Dad stood in the hallway, and Mom was right behind him. Both had curious looks on their faces. In Dad's arms was a large cardboard box that seemed to jumble about on its own. Morning, Liam, said Dad in his soft voice. Mom clasped her hands together as if she were anticipating something. Morning, yawned Liam. Dad placed the cardboard box on the floor near Liam's bed. Over the top of the box poked a cold, wet nose. Attached to the wet nose, a friendly, furry face stared at Liam. Liam moved his own face closer, only to get licked all over. Dad and Mom didn't say anything else. They just backed out of the room quietly and let Liam and his new pet get better acquainted.